Hello everybody. I'm really hoping this is working. If you're watching me and you can actually see and hear me, please leave me a comment and say hi so I can actually tell if this is working or not, because this is my very first attempt at a Facebook Live. So, hoping that some people are watching, I'm going to get started on our usual antenatal nappy talk. This is the talk that we normally come to antenatal classes and give to expecting parents. And obviously we can't do that at the moment. So we thought we could try and do it here, and that might help a few people with having a clue where to start and what they might do to get started with cloth nappies, and what's available obviously on the Gloucestershire Real Nappy scheme, voucher scheme, which is funded by the council, which we're really lucky to have. So I'm just going to apologise in advance in case we get interrupted by my lovely children, who are still wide awake because they've decided to sleep in the same room tonight, which is never going to work. Day 3 of homeschooling. It's all slightly stressful, but it's fine. Used to be a teacher, never knew it could be this stressful teaching your own children. You learn something new every day. Right, now, cloth nappies. What I normally say to people is, I'm just going to reach over my shoulder here and grab my wheelie trolley full of delights. What I normally say to people is, if you've ever seen a cloth nappy before, it's probably on telly. It's probably on something like Call the Midwife, and you will have seen a terry square, big square of towel, and you will have seen them doing some fantastically complex looking bit of origami to fold it up and to put it on the baby's bum with a huge, great big scary pin that you're worried about stabbing your baby with, and then putting some really attractive plastic pants over the top. And you probably think that is a really hard work sort of solution to nappying your baby. They're actually a lot easier than you think. And if anybody is interested in using terry squares, we can certainly help you with these, and they're a great, still a great solution, and they're very economical. But there are so many way easier modern cloth nappies out there nowadays, so I'd like to show you some of those. So there are basically 3 types of cloth nappy. There are many different brands, and there are slight varieties, but basically they come in 3 parts. So a pocket nappy. This is what I mostly used when I was cloth bumming my kids. They come in lots of different brands. This one, got to work out which way to show the camera. This one is a Littles and Blooms. So this is sort of at the cheaper end of the available brands. You get these for under a £5 on eBay and Amazon. Fastens with Velcro. Dead simple for beginners. It's birth to potty, which means, ta-da! Do the thing, I'm pulling the wrong side, that's why. It grows with your child, with your baby. So it will go from birth, which is roughly about £9–10, depending on your baby, up until potty training. And this will very happily fit a 3-year-old, 4-year-old child. My colleague Kirsty's 8-year-old can still get one of these on, so they really will fit up to potty training. The thing about birth to potty is that babies are born all different sizes. So while these would have fit my babies, who were £9, £11 from birth, they might not fit every baby from birth if you have a little £7 baby or £6 baby. So you might need to have a newborn solution, a smaller something to start with if you want to, or you might just use disposables for a couple of weeks. There's very easy and cheap ways of doing that. Just get yourself a stack of muslins and a couple of small size wraps and you're sorted. So there are ways and means of doing that without too much hassle and too much expense. But generally speaking, a birth to potty nappy, one that is size adjustable, will cover your baby for almost all the time they are going to be in nappies. And this one, as I say, is a pocket nappy. So I showed you the Velcro and the poppers on the front. It's basically a waterproof polyurethane laminated or pull outer. So it's sort of got a plastic lining on the inside of that, which you might be able to see. It's got a nice sort of soft micro fleece lining next to your baby's bum. And inside the pocket hence pocket nappy. It has 2 boosters. These ones are bamboo lined with microfiber inside. So a lot of them come with microfiber, which is very fast absorbing and quick drying. You can also get inserts in a hybrid like this one, that are bamboo microfiber mix. You can get bamboo, which is more absorbent. You can get cotton liners. You can get hemp, which is even more absorbent still. So, and I posted a picture last week, I think, of all the different, somebody had accidentally dyed their nappy wash, and you could see all the different materials lined up by absorbency and according to how dark they'd dyed, which is quite funny. So you can put different things in a pocket nappy, so it's quite nice and versatile. Because the parts are separate, they come out, they dry nice and quickly because they all come out separate to go on the line. But you can change what's in there. So you might start off with microfiber, and then as your baby gets bigger and they wean more, you can add in a bamboo booster, switch one out, and one of each works quite well for a long time. If they're a very heavy wetter, or as they get bigger, you could put 2 bamboo ones in there, or even hemp. So it gives you versatility. All-in-one nappies. Very similar to a pocket nappy, but basically the absorbent bit is sewn on so you can't lose it. So this is a Bambino Mio, and you might have seen these in supermarkets. They have them in Aldi in the baby events. They have them in some Sainsbury's and possibly some Morrisons as well, I think I've heard. I've never seen one in there myself personally. Don't have a big Morrisons near me. So it tucks inside itself, its booster there, and again it's got the waterproof outer, microfiber inner. These ones are microfiber on the inside, so they've got that fast drying, easy care kind of option, but aren't the most absorbent. Again, this is vertipotty with the poppers on the front. Again, it fastens with Velcro, and all of these nappies are shaped to fit your baby. So they've got elastic around the legs, they've got elastic at the top of the bum, which helps stop poo explosions up the back. And they're nice and easy to put on, and you know, just comparing them with that sort of terry square and plastic pants, you can see that a modern cloth nappy is really quite easy use now. The third variety is when you get a 2-part nappy, and 2 parts is basically there are 2 parts of it. So this is a Top Spots bamboozle stretch, which comes in one of our voucher kits. You've got the whole nappy, and again it's vertipotty. I can't know if you can barely see the rows of poppers on there because they're white on white, but the whole nappy is made of bamboo terry, so it's really absorbent, and this will hold roughly 1.5 pints of liquid. So these are great for night nappies. They're also amazing in the daytime, but they're a little bit extra bulky because of all that extra fabric, so a lot of people don't want to use them in the day under clothes because they find that a little bit more bulky, so they keep them for night time. You then just put the waterproof layer over the top, again fastens with Velcro, so you've got 2 layers to do up, and that's your night nappy, so a 2-parter. In terms of brands, you can go for anything from sort of Motherese, Tickle Tots, 20, 23, 25 pound odd a nappy, to Littles and Blooms at, like I said, about £5 a nappy. You can even go down cheaper than that. I know somebody who bought all of their nappies on Wish for about £1 each, and they work just as well and they're amazing. So there is a huge variety of what you can choose to spend on your nappies. In terms of usage, we can't find that it makes any difference. Nobody's sort of doing any independent studies on it, but anecdotally when we speak to mums that are using the cheap ones, they're working just as well as the expensive ones, and most people honestly have a mix. So in terms of what your Gloucestershire Nappy Project voucher can do for you, this is funded by the County Council, and it allows every family in Gloucestershire with a child under the age of 2 to claim a £30 voucher towards the cost of getting started with cloth nappies. There are several ways you can do that. So there are 3 different voucher packs to get you started, and what the council has done is spoken to 3 different companies got set up with a starter pack. Each of them has 5 nappies in, a roll of disposable liners for when you need that. Come back to that in a minute. And a wet bag to keep the nappies in. They are all have a retail value of £90 and above. They will end up costing you £20. So you put your £30 voucher towards the cost of the pack. Because it's being done through the council scheme, they get them at a discount. It only ends up costing you £20. So it's a really good deal, a really good way to get started. Just showing you the Top Spots one, 3 all-in-one nappies with bamboo terrier. Then you get that 2-parter that I just showed you, and you also get another set of inserts with the wrap to make the 5th nappy change, so that's another 2-parter. You get your roll of liners, you get your wet bag. If you want to go for Bambino Mio, you get 4 of the all-in-ones that are microfiber, and you also get a 2-part nappy with this one, which is a little size 1 wrap and a cotton pre-fold. This is called a Mio Soft. And this is a really good one to start with if your baby is littler to start with. You get yourself some little size 1 wraps like this, and then either muslins or pre-folds, even tea towels, anything, honestly, you can put in as the absorbent part. You just tuck it inside, put it on your baby, and it's dead simple. And that would be quite a nice, easy, cheap way of clothing your baby if you want to do start from birth when they're little, before they would fit into a birth to potty. With a 2-part system, you don't need as many wraps as you need inners, because the wrap you can keep reusing. So you take the nappy off, you put the wet and dirty inner bit in the washing. The outer wrap, you just give it a wipe down and you put it back on over the next inner. So you could have maybe 20 muslins, 4 wraps, and that ought to keep you going. So as I say, it's a good way to get started. In that kit as well, you also get some extra boosters, I should mention. There's some extra boosters there that can go in the nappies. The 3rd voucher kit is Close Parent Pop-ins. They look like this. These are bamboo terry. You get 5, all the same, different colours, in your pack. They're called pop-ins because they pop it in. All the different boosters pop it together. And so you have a shell and then boosters on the inside. They fasten with Velcro again. They've got the same size adjusting. This one, in fact, has 4 different levels of sizing. And you get, sorry, getting myself in a tangle. You get 4 of those in the pack. You also get 2 nighttime boosters that pop around the inserts to make those suitable for nighttime. You get your roll of disposable liners. I will come back to that in a second. And in this one, you get a set of washable wipes, which is quite useful and nice. So, washable wipes are amazing, incidentally. I did a video on them the other day and they are fantastic. I am using mine in the absence of loo roll, and they're working extremely well. What can I say? You don't want too much detail on that, probably. But they're working perfectly well. Quite happy with that. So, that's your 3rd voucher kit. The other option you have with your voucher is to buy, if you don't fancy any of those 3 kits, to buy anything that you want to buy. Spend £50 on cloth nappies, any brand, any source, any website, any shop, and then you will get £30 cash back paid back to your account when you upload your receipts for £50 of cloth nappies onto the Gloucestershire Recycle for Gloucestershire website. So the receipts need to say cloth nappies on them. It doesn't have to all be on one receipt. It can be across multiple purchases, and it can even be on second-hand purchases as long as you have a receipt to say that you have bought cloth nappies. So it's quite a versatile scheme, and that means that if you want to buy the cheaper ones, something like this, you can get yourself a pack of maybe 10, because these are roughly a £5. Make sure you spend over £50. So get yourself a pack of however many that is on Amazon or eBay, and then you can reclaim your money, and you'll have spent £20 and you might have 10 cloth nappies rather than the 5 that come in the other pack. They're not, they work just as well, like I was saying. They're not as expensive to start with, so they won't have as good a resale value probably as the more expensive ones. So it's up to you, and you won't get the wet bag with it and the wipes and the other goodies that come with it. But it's up to you how you want to claim that back. It's nice to have the versatility, I think. So if you're thinking, yay, great, where do I sign up? I would be handing you one of these around about now. So you can go to recycleforgloucestershire.com, had to check them whether it was a co.uk or a .com, /real-nappies. And on there you will find a really lovely picture of myself and my lovely colleague Kirsty, and details of how you can apply for your voucher and how you can get one of your kits if you would like the kit. So if you would like one of the starter voucher packs, you tick one of the boxes to say, I'd like the Tot Spots, or I'd like the Close Parent, or I'd like the Bambino Mio. And then the voucher goes directly to the company. They will telephone you to ask how you pay your £20. You read them out a credit card number and it will turn up in the post. It's as simple as that. If you've bought your own, then you upload your receipts on there, and it will pay the money back into your bank account, so it will need your bank details. The only evidence you need for being eligible for this is a picture of your child's, either your child's birth certificate if your baby's been born already, or if your baby hasn't arrived yet, you can use your Nappy one or your maternity exemption card. So basically it's evidence you have a child, and you upload that onto there as to prove your eligibility. You have to live in Gloucestershire. Sorry if anybody's watching that doesn't. Cloth nappies are still great, but you can't get the funding from Gloucestershire County Council if you don't live in Gloucestershire. When you decide to get some amazing cloth nappies, if you want to apply for this, I need to say, I almost forgot, please don't do it tomorrow, Thursday the 26th, because there is some website admin happening, and the voucher portal on the website for how you fill in all your details is being switched over from one system to another. It should be fine again by Friday, but just don't quite do it tomorrow. So we've got a little warning up on the Facebook page to say that anyways, but I'll just reiterate it again. What haven't I covered? Aha, now I said I would come back to liners, because normally at this point, and I'm hoping that people can hear me because nobody has sent me any comments that I can see so far, so I could be talking into the ether. Normally at this point, somebody tentatively puts their hand up and asks the poo question. So they say, what about washing them? Do I have to put poo in my washing machine? So washing cloth nappies is a lot easier than you might think. You do not need to soak them in anything. You do not need to bleach them. You do not need to boil them. You do not need to scrub them. When you take off a dirty nappy, you put it into the wet bag to keep it safe, which is just made the same stuff the outside of the nappy, to keep it safe until it's time to do your wash. You can also use a lidded nappy bucket, but you don't need any water in there. You don't need to soak them. And when it's time to do your nappy wash, which we would say end of every day or end of every other day is ideal. So if you're cloth nappying full time, you'll need about 15 to 20 nappies, and you'll have a full load of washing every other day from nappies. If you want to feel for what you would probably do then, because you wouldn't have a full load, is you'd put the nappies in, do a rinse and spin, that gets rid of most of the dirt, and then you top up your load with any other washing like towels or bedding that is not going to need fabric softener, and you put it on your full wash, 40 degrees. You can wash on 60 degrees if you've got a reason to think that the baby's had a tummy bug or they've just had their jabs, but generally 40 degrees is absolutely fine. You want it to do a full wash, so something like your cottons wash on your machine that will give it plenty of agitation, plenty of water. You don't want to use a quick wash or an eco wash, because this is probably the dirtiest thing you're ever going to wash. You want it to do a full wash cycle. And eco washes reuse the same water for the rinses and everything, and they don't drain it away. So you don't really want that when you're washing nappies. You want to get rid of the dirt. Non-bio powder is the best thing to use. Ordinary non-bio, whatever you use for your clothes. And you chuck them in and you let the machine do its job. And when it's done, you take them out and hang all the bits up. And then if you've got pocket nappies and you've got lots of separate bits, you have a great excuse to sit down later in front of a box set and stuff them all back together again when they're dry. You can tell yourself you're working while you're sitting in front of the telly. It's great. So until your baby starts on solids, that is literally all you need to do. Once they've started eating solids, the poos become slightly more troublesome. So babies that are only having milk, their poo is entirely water soluble. You just put the whole thing in the washing machine and it will disappear and you do not have to worry about it. Once they start weaning, their poo starts transitioning towards more like proper poo. And it will go through this lovely sticky stage that is difficult to clean off and difficult to get rid of. So that is when the disposable liner really comes into its own. So you lay one of these inside your nappy. If you're one of those incredibly fortunate parents whose child poos at a predictable time of day, you only need to put it in that one nappy. I'd have loved to be one of those. If you're one of those parents whose baby could go 10 times in a day and give you no clues whatsoever, you put one in every nappy. If they're just wet, incidentally, you can just put it in the wash with the nappies and they come out looking exactly the same, and then you can use them again. So that should give you a clue that they are not water. So they are biodegradable eventually, but they're not water soluble, which means just like baby wipes and just like makeup wipes and toilet cleaning wipes and any kind of wipes, you should not flush them down your toilet. You can cause blockages in the system. So you use this to transfer, to take the poo out of the nappy. You shake it down the toilet, and then this bit goes in your residual waste, in your black bin. Okay, and you can just keep one little nappy bag or something, or repurpose an old carry bag, collect up a whole day's worth or even a week's worth of these and put them in the bin. Okay, so it's a tiny amount of waste compared to disposable nappies. If you don't even want that amount of waste, you can use a piece of fleece instead to do the same job, to line your nappy, and then it just helps you transfer the poo out and get it down the loo. When they get past that weaning stage and they're onto more solid poos, you won't even need any of those. You'll literally just be able to upend the nappy over the toilet, poo will fall out, flush the poo, and then put the nappy in the bucket or wet bag and it will be fine. It's just that tricky little bit in between when they're transitioning between fully milk fed onto solids that you get a slightly difficult phase to deal with. So liners can be really helpful for that phase. But at no point do you have to put poo, solid poo, in your washing machine, and we wouldn't recommend that you do that. So hopefully that lays that one to rest. When you get some cloth nappies, I'm going to keep saying when, not if, because I'm keen on the idea. When you get some cloth nappies, pre-wash them first, because just as when you buy a brand new towel, it will be lovely and soft and fluffy, but it will not be very absorbent. They need a pre-wash just to get out any of the materials that are left in there from manufacturing, the finishing agents in the cloth, basically. So give them a wash first, hang them out to dry, and then they should be fine to use. If you've got bamboo ones, they'll continue gaining absorbency for the first few washes. But you only probably need to do one pre-wash and then use them, and then just change them slightly more frequently the first couple of times. If you have any worries, any troubles with getting hold of them or fitting them to your baby or washing them or anything, do get in touch. This is part of our job, and we like to help people learn to use these as easily as they possibly can. What we don't want people to do is spend money on them and then try to use them, have a few leaks, get cross, stick them in a bottom drawer, get really annoyed and say, cloth nappies are rubbish. Because when they're fitted properly, they leak less than disposables. You don't get that poo-splosion up the back of the baby grow, which everybody who's used a disposable on a small baby in a car seat comes to know dread. I've got a comment. Kathy Bridges, I love you. I know somebody's watching now. I'm so happy. Sorry, Kathleen has asked, you said that you would need about 15 nappies if you're using cloth nappies full time. Would you suggest getting a mix of different types up front? So, Kathy, yes. I would suggest it is really great if you can have a few different types. Now, normally, under normal circumstances, we have loan kits that we can lend out so that people can try different types. Unfortunately, in the current circumstances, we can't do that because you can't come and get them and we can't bring them out to groups. So, sadly, we can't do that at the moment. But yes, it's helpful to have a bit of variety because you'll find different styles are more useful at different times of day, like having the two-parters for night time. A lot of people would find something like a pocket nappy works great when they're at home, a pocket nappy or an out and about, a pocket nappy or an all-in-one. Really quick and easy for when you're out and about. Now, all-in-ones with everything tucked in, amazing for if you're taking them to nursery or to a grandparent's and someone else has to deal with the nappy, because there's nothing to go wrong. When it's all assembled, it's literally just put it on, do up the Velcro, nothing to get lost, nothing to get wrong. So really simple. But when you're at home, you might prefer something that's going to be a bit more absorbent and give you a bit longer, because you're probably going to be changing one of those every hour and a half, whereas something, another kind of nappy, like one of these with 2 bamboo boosters in, or one of the other types of nappy, you might get 2 to 3 hours out of. So it is quite nice to have a variety of different things for different needs. And out of your 15 to 20 nappies, you're probably going to want, depends a bit on how often your baby needs a fresh nappy. So for a newborn, starting from newborn, you probably do want 20, because although they don't wee and poo a huge quantity, they do it very frequently and you need a new one every time. But as they get bigger, they hold on to their wees a bit longer and then do a big wee and then hold on to it and do it a bit longer. So you might easily get 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. And you need to change it, you know, when you think it's getting full of wee, you'll change it. So roughly about that sort of 3 hour mark, you'll soon get used to kind of giving it a bit. People always say, how do you know without a blue line on a nappy? You think, well, you give it a squidge and if it feels full and heavy, like the difference between a dry sponge and a wet sponge, you can feel, you can tell when a nappy is full and wet. You change it, or immediately if you think they've done a poo, you'd change it, obviously, just as you would with a disposable. So I went off a tangent there. If you probably want the majority of daytime nappies, but you're going to want 3 or 4 nighttime nappies, because they tend to be bigger and bulkier and bamboo and things, they will take a little bit longer to dry. So even though you could theoretically take this off your baby in the morning, stick it straight in the wash and get it straight on the line, unless it's a really lovely sunny day, you're probably not going to have it ready, and you're really on the ball, you're probably not going to have it ready to put back on your baby's bum by that night time. So you're going to want a few of these. So, you know, 3 night nappies is going to make your life a lot more relaxed than 2, let's say. And daytime nappies, however many you think you're going to need. Generally speaking, as your children get older, you need slightly fewer. So you might get away with 15 if you start at 6 months, whereas you might need 20 if you're going to start from very, very young. But it depends on the baby. It also, it's still totally worth doing if you're doing it part-time. So there is no level at which it's not worth doing cloth nappying. You will still be helping the environment. If you used 1 cloth nappy a day, from birth up until potty training, you'd have saved 1,000 nappies going into the residual waste. Okay, so it's a small change can make an enormous difference. So it's really worth getting yourself a few to start with, like one of the voucher packs where you've got 5, try them out, see how you get on, and then buy yourself a few more and slowly ramp up. It's a great way to do it. I hope I've answered your question. Another question has come up. Abigail Mary. You said that cloth nappies aren't suitable for the baby when they're first born. Would you recommend getting a couple of the ones that are good for newborns and then the others? Repeat the type that are best for newborns. Right, okay, so there are beautiful, tiny little newborn baby nappies available. This is a teeny fit, Totspot's teeny fit, and it's beautiful and it's lovely and it's so soft. And this would fit a tiny little baby and be adorably cute and amazing. But you'd still need about 20 of them because they go to the loo so often. And they're only going to fit your baby for about 3 weeks, unless you have a preemie or a very, very, very tiny baby that stays tiny. So it's not going to be very economically viable to get yourself a full set of something like this, beautiful as they are. Look out for them pre-loved, they're amazing, and they won't have been used much because whoever's had them, they won't have been able to use them much before their babies grow out of them. So if you can get any of these pre-loved, great. For most people, if they want to do it from birth, and you're not expecting whopping babies like mine, who I can hear thundering about upstairs right now, then a really nice way to do it is to get yourself some wraps. So this is just the outer bit. This is the wrap of the nappy, with no absorbent fabric in there. It's just the waterproof layer with the Velcro and the elastic. And then you can put anything in there that's absorbent. So you can put pre-folds like this. You don't even need the nappy nipper. I can see, Kathy, that you've asked about nappy nippers. Nappy nippers are great. With a double gusset wrap like this on a newborn, you're not even going to need the nappy nipper. This will hold in even liquid poos, okay, because it's got that 2 layers, I'm not showing that very well, of elastic that's a double sort of layer of protection. So you're not even going to need that. Pre-folds are great, cotton. You can pick them up very, very cheap secondhand. They are fantastic. You can buy them new as well. They're great. You can use, I have a friend that used IKEA tea towels and just bought a stack of IKEA tea towels. It's just a pad of absorbent fabric that you fold up and put them in. She didn't also use them for her washing up, not the same ones. I feel I should point this out. But you could put a terry square in there. You could put a muslin. Muslins are great. Fold the muslin up and put it in there. Works really good on little newborns. You could even use some of the boosters. I've buried everything. I've got all my nappies scattered everywhere and I've buried them all. I'm going to pull them out of here. You could even, if you've got yourself a stack of pocket nappies or something with the boosters, you could even use your boosters tucked in there in the same wrap. Okay, it's anything, any absorbent there goes in there. They look very complicated. They're not nearly as complicated when you actually get hold of them. This is why we love coming out to groups and showing them to people, because they're not nearly as complicated as they look when you've got all of this choice and all of this kind of, oh, different brands, different colours, different styles. Every cloth nappy is an absorbent layer. I've now got a cat playing in a cardboard box. That's the funny noise in case you can hear it. They've all got an absorbent layer and a waterproof layer. Some of them they're attached together, some of them they're separate, but basically it's an absorbent layer and a waterproof layer fitted around your baby's bum. It's not rocket science and it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. And once you actually get them in your hands and try putting them on, it's a lot more simple than it sounds. We are also here to help. So if you get them and go, oh, I don't know what to do, send us a message. We can video chat you at the moment. And we can do that one-to-one. If you want a video consult, we can do that. We can, if you send us pictures, we can check the fit and see how it looks and sort of say, oh yeah, that sort of looks almost right, but just tweak this or tweak that. The key thing about fit tends to be, with a cloth nappy, that they fit much lower down on a baby than you would expect compared with looking at a disposable. So the elastic bit at the back wants to go right at the top of their bum crease, almost so they've got a builder's bum. The front wants to come underneath their belly button, and the elastic wants to be tucked right into their knicker line, as though they're wearing a pair of knickers or a Speedo. Yeah, they want to be tucked right in, much, much smaller. Slightly bulkier, but much, much smaller, not nearly as tall as a disposable, because a disposable has all that sort of paper, crinkly stuff at the top that sticks up So it will look very low slung compared to a disposable, but that is how you get a really good fit. And most of the problems people have with fit is by making them too large, because when they go up the bigger sizes on the poppers, as well as making it taller in the body, it also makes the leg elastics looser. This is how it fits, changes the fit. So as you make it bigger, the legs get much looser. So if you do that, if you kind of go, oh, my baby's in 0 to 3 month clothes now, click, make the nappy way bigger, that's supposed to fit a 3-year-old. And then suddenly you've got really loose around the legs and you're getting leaks everywhere. The other thing to watch out for, if anybody's using them on slightly bigger ones, sometimes we get people saying, oh, they used to fit really well until we were about 18 months, and then suddenly they're leaking all over the place, all around the legs every time we use them. Sometimes that's because babies get bigger and bigger and bigger up until about that age, about 15, 18 months, and then they suddenly get a lot more mobile. They start running around, they start growing upwards, not outwards, and they get taller and thinner. And suddenly their lovely big chunky baby thighs that the nappy has been gripping quite happily on the largest setting slim down as they get bigger. And then you actually end up needing to go back down to the middle size to get the legs snug again. So sometimes that's one to watch. So it's almost always little tiny tweaks of the fit and things like that that will sort out any leaks that you have. And we're really happy to help with any problems that you have. Anybody got any more questions? I think I've gone through most of my nappy talk in my head. I forgot some of my statistics. So sometimes start with saying every day in Gloucestershire, 86,000 disposable nappies go into the residual waste, go in the bin. 86,000 a day just in Gloucestershire. And that is a colossal amount of waste. So that is why the council fund us and fund the vouchers for you to try and get people to switch over. We can have a massive impact on the environment just by making a small change. Like I was saying, 1 cloth nappy a day, if you used it throughout your baby's time in nappies, would be 1,000 less going into the waste. Each baby's going to go through 5,000 or 6,000 nappies by the time they're potty trained. So it's a huge thing. And in case anybody's thinking, but it sounds really, really expensive, a few weeks ago I actually sat down and did the numbers, and now that I've got time at home I might even get a chance to put them all into a lovely shiny infographic to go on the page. But I crunched the numbers. If you're using disposable nappies, if you're using Aldi, Lidl, Tesco, by the time your baby is 3, you're going to have spent 400 quid on disposables. That's not counting any wipes, which would be quite a sizable chunk on top of that. If you're using Pampers, it's going to be 1,300 quid. If you are using one of the Natty babies, like the Nature Babies biodegradable ones, which won't biodegrade in our waste system because we don't have the right conditions to do it, then you're going to be spending nearly £2,000 on nappies by the time they're 3. And you can get everything you need to cloth nappy them for around about 100 quid. You can spend more if you get tempted into very, very pretty patterns and having to have the latest thing, but there's no need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on cloth nappies. And of course, when you've finished with them, you can either use them on another child. If you're going to have more than one, you can pass them down. And I know people who have used them on 5 consecutive children and they've still been going strong, so they really will last. Or you can sell them on. And we even have people selling them on our Facebook page, and that's fine. And they still have a resale value afterwards. So I always like to say to people, if you get your voucher pack, your starter pack, give it a go, give it a try, whichever one you go for. If you find, after you've tried it for a few weeks or a few months, you can't get on with it, it's not for you, or you just want to try a different sort, you buy a different brand, you find something else easier, you can sell it on for more than the 20 quid, or at least the 20 quid that you've put into it. You're not going to make a loss on doing that. So there's really no reason not to give it a try. Sorry, Abigail, I've just seen that you've given me another question. Over the 3 brands, that are part of the deal? Is there a benefit to each type, or are they the same but just different named brands? So there are benefits to each type. Right, let me go through that again. Bambino Mio, you get 4 all-in-ones that are microfiber. Microfiber dries faster. If you have a problem getting your washing dry, if you live somewhere where you can't hang your washing up, there's not a lot of space, you need to tumble dry it, or you need to get it dry really quickly, or your house is damp or cold, or you're going to struggle with drying, these are great to go for because they dry really fast and they're dead simple. They are not the most absorbent. Because they are microfiber, microfiber does not hold as much as natural fibres. So these nappies will need changing more often than a bamboo nappy. The other 2 brands are both bamboo. Tot Spots, you get 3 of the all-in-ones, same style where it folds inside itself, but this is bamboo terry, so it's more absorbent. You also get that 2-parter, so you get to try a nighttime one. And you get another set of pads that go inside that 2-parter. So you're getting to try out 3 different types of nappy in that kit. The close parent, you get 5 nappies that are all the same type. I've buried it. Where have I put it? It's here. You get 5 nappies that are all the same type. They're bamboo terry, really absorbent, really good all-rounder nappy. You get 2 nighttime boosters, so you can turn them into nighttime nappies. But the downside to that one is they do take longer to dry. Because they're bamboo, and also I think personally on this one, because of that shaped booster on the inside, which fits really nicely, but that elastication just holds a bit of extra dampness, so these just take a bit longer to dry. So they're a great nappy, but if drying is your issue, if that's your pinch point in your system of getting your washing done and sorted, then maybe don't go for that one. They've all got ups and downs, basically. They've all got pros and cons. So all of the 3 brands are good brands. They're good nappies. We wouldn't recommend them otherwise if we didn't think they were good, but they do have different pros and cons, and hopefully that makes sense, what I've said, as to what the difference of them is. If you've got any more specific questions, or you want me to go through any of that, do feel free to send the page message, and I'll type it all out or send you some more pictures or something later. But hopefully that made some sense. This is normally the point at which I kind of stop talking because the midwife's tapping her watch and looking at me and thinking, we've got other stuff to talk about. And I've whittled on for much longer than I usually do tonight. So if you have any more questions, do send us a message. I really hope that some of you are now thinking about maybe getting some cloth nappies. They are a lot easier than they look when it comes to using them. And they can save the environment, they can save you money, and they can save you getting in a panic of going, oh my God, I can't buy nappies anywhere because of coronavirus. Because if you've got them there in your bottom drawer, they're there, and all you've got to do is wash them. Thank you very much for watching. I know I rabbit on far too fast. I'm working on that. And send us a message if you need any more help. Thank you very much. Bye.